Welcome back to Talking Couch Potatoes.
I feel like you've done that every
I
single
know,
time.
it's so fun.
That's going to be our intro now.
Unfortunately, Kira will not be joining us in this episode due to Wi-Fi difficulties.
Today we're going to be talking about life as a simulation. It's a very deep topic, so we're going to get straight on into it.
Dun dun dun. Is reality real?
I guess the whole thing that comes along with life as being a simulation is what is reality. When you think about reality, you think about things that you can feel, hear, touch, all your senses. So without the senses, what is reality? People that lose sense of smell and taste, is their sense of reality different to ours? Probably, because they can't taste or smell things. So how do you know if something's real if you can't feel it or see it?
I mean, I do think people who lose their senses, like hearing or seeing, touch cheese, and they're like, oh, what is this? Nothing is real anymore.
But that's because we're told this is cheese and cheese is food and you can eat it.
That's true.
And where do we come up with names for our stuff like cheese? If
Just
you say
language
it more
in
than
general, where did that...
Yeah.
Cavemen.
I'm just posing ideas, we don't need answers, but it's just to make people
unsure.
Answers. You're not going to get answers, Sky. You're going to
them.
Die and not have answers.
I need them.
I read somewhere that it was really stupid. It was something on Instagram. It was do people that take drugs see reality for what it is?
Yeah, I saw that. Apparently you see the doors of reality or something like that.
But then I guess you could say the same thing about dreams. You're in a sort of state where anything is possible.
But can your brain simulate something you've never seen before?
Yeah.
But then apparently you can't simulate faces just made of nothing. If you simulate a physical world, is it through knowledge of movies, books, art, stuff like that? Or is your brain actually creating random?
If we was shown reality, non-simulated reality, would we be able to process it? Because if you think about it, if the Sims were told that they were in our reality, that they aren't real and they're this little computer game, how would they understand that? Because they don't even speak our language, first of all. Would they even be able to process that and understand the real world? Because they're literally just these tiny little characters that can't understand anything but what they're told to do. Are there things out there that we can't process? For example, a fish cannot be told everything that goes on in the universe. There's so much a fish doesn't know relative to us. If someone tried to show us reality, some supernatural being, would we be able to process it? Are we like the fish compared to them? You know what I mean?
I don't think we will be able to process it. Don't we only access 5% of our brain?
Yeah.
So do you think it's better that we don't understand?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it could lead to some catastrophic event. I don't know. But
in some cases, ignorance is bliss. I don't think in this situation it's necessarily better to know that you're in a simulation, especially if you can't do anything about it. I'd rather just enjoy my little simulated life.
If it is
a simulation,
yeah,
otherwise.
What if the sort of idea that they put in films of aliens, of, life as a simulation, of the Matrix, what if the reason why they've made those films is because they want us to try and, step into that understanding that we are in a similar environment?
I mean, it could be a theory that a higher power is sending these messages in films, but like the Matrix, and someone is oh, break out of it, Neo.
Yeah.
And we're the Neos.
I think one of the main things that makes me think we could be living in a simulation is deja vu. Because I get deja vu all the time. It's really weird because I'll be I know what that person's going to say next.
Yeah, I get that often, but in dreams, sometimes I dream something and it happens in real life and I'm like, whoa, have I seen this before?
And dreams feel so real though. Obviously, there's lucid dreaming. You can ground yourself in a dream, but how the hell is that possible? I understand lots of people do it. I personally can't lucid dream. If you can ground yourself in a dream like reality, then that just shows the possibility of just living completely inside your own head.
I mean, I've had that experience. I'm aware sometimes that I'm dreaming and I'm like, oh, this is a dream. I've had this dream before. I know how it ends. I want to change the ending. Now that we have VR and we're able to simulate the 3D world and faces that look so much like real faces, it's hard to tell apart what's a real face to what's a video game. If we keep rapidly evolving like this, how can we tell what's real and what's not between a video game and what's real life? You know how VR have headsets, so we know that we're in a simulation because, not a simulation, but that video game, because we have a headset to put on. What if we discover a microchip that we can insert into our head, so we have contact lenses?
Yeah, or just chips that you can put into your head that it can expand your memory and store them somewhere so you can remember stuff.
That's dangerous because someone
I
can
know.
hack into your and feed you like false information and be like, "This is
Yeah.
happening."
Could frame
Good film
people
idea.
for like crimes by getting witnesses that actually genuinely remember.
Yeah, the government can just implant info into like if you search up something in Google like the JFK assassination and be like, you know, all those conspiracy theories that come up and like the government can completely wipe that and be like, no, this is the perpetrator, nothing happened, there are no conspiracy theories, and you would believe that because it's coded like that.
It's like when I was younger, I used to think, what if right now I was just put into the world as the simulated world? Now I was just been coded into it, and then they included the memory of me and my made up past into everyone's heads, so that they thought that I'd always existed and they remember me always existing, but I was literally just born now. Wouldn't that be crazy? Imagine if the world was created today.
That's crazy.
But we were all just given the memories of our past life.
That links into reincarnation. Apparently you have like a soul. What if it's not a soul? What if it's like an actual chip and you just implant it into a new body? That's like altered carbon.
Yeah,
series.
have you guys seen The Island?
No.
Oh, you guys are missing out, honestly.
The Island?
It's so good. Yeah, The Island. It's about like bodies are grown so that like they're replicas of people. So when they get ill and they need like an extra kidney or they need a heart or they need like some sort of transplant, when they're like growing, they get given like a little like TV screen and it explains to them like who they are, as Amber said, like what's happened in their life so far and everything.
It's like wearing multiple like skins. Like if you damage one skin, you can be like, oh no, don't worry, we have another skin for you.
But how weird is it though? Like Black Mirror and all these programs and TV shows. Like someone has to get this idea from somewhere. And where did it start from?
Yeah, I mean like the whole genre of science fiction. Like where did that come from? You know?
Yeah. Maybe someone's trying to get us to ease into this idea that maybe we are in some sort of simulation through our like reactions of films. I think also the thing that I was researching a bit is The Simpsons and how the Simpsons.
I didn't know whether you were saying Simpsons or Simpsons.
And how they like predict the future, because it's crazy the stuff that they've predicted. They predicted stuff like the coronavirus, autocorrect. Some of them you think, yeah, okay, eventually that's going to happen, like if you think into the future. But some of them are really specific, like that guy that got killed by a tiger. It's really too much of a coincidence and it happens way too often for it to be. We don't actually know. And we never will know. But the only way you're going to know is if our lives are predetermined and if they already know what's going to happen.
But how can emotions and like thoughts be simulated?
That's a good one.
I guess the only thing we can kind of say is that I guess technology
it's developed more
because it's going to be really high tech.
Back in the past, we couldn't have predicted that there would have been a computer that talks to us and reacts to what we tell them. Not even that long ago, people would have thought that's insane. I guess maybe in the future, we will actually develop a software that can have emotions and maybe will be random, even though we can't even imagine actually happening.
What you were saying with Siri, it's really weird how we like humanize code.
Literally.
Like Siri's just all code. You're not talking to anything but code, but you're like, hey Siri, what's up? And it tells you a joke and you're like, haha, Siri.
How would an actual like thing in the simulation actually be able to break out of the simulation? Say we're not actual physical beings in the real world, we're just simulated, completely simulated, we're just code. We could never break out of it.
Kira found out that some DNA could potentially contain a computer virus. Well, it could reveal that what we perceive to be biological reality was in fact computer code all along. So I just had to put that in for Kira's voice. If we are in a simulation, are we simulated off reality or are we simulated off another simulation? How far down the line do we go?
Or is reality in destruction and they might be playing out another possibility? Say, for example, global warming might be the end of humans. They see what it's like without global warming and then they see what it's like with global warming. There might be multiple simulations. I don't know. It's many possibilities.
I read somewhere that like the infinity that we see of space is given like infinity so that we don't question it anymore. Infinity goes on for too long, you could never wrap your head around it. To give us the impression that it's too hard to understand, therefore we shouldn't even try to begin to comprehend, they've kind of like given us sort of like a projection.
Like imagine it, like one person trying to understand pi, they would die.
Yeah, I think it is kind of impossible for us humans to understand the idea of infinity because we can't see infinity. Everything that we know ends at some point, how can we possibly understand infinity?
I think, though, one thing that you could say, like, to sort of contradict that point is we, as humans, always want to make ourselves feel important. Like, we need a reason why we're here on this earth. Even if just as humans, you need a reason for your life. Like, it's to find love or it's to get the job of your dreams, you know? What if there isn't a reason, and the only reason we're thinking that maybe we're in a simulation is because we need something to hold on to other than to believe that we are just a tiny little planet in the massive universe?
Like, there is something else out there. There is a reason for us, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's true, but it's just another theory.
Humans are a very social species. They need to have a leader because, like, that's why we have hierarchy. That's why we have monarchies. Like, we need prime ministers, governments, etc., in order to work as a team.
I don't know. I've always believed that we are just this earth, and we were created from chance and a load of trial and error, and where we got to now, and we developed by evolution, and we're going to die by evolution.
I think that death is just a scary thought. I know if Kira was here, she would say, oh my god, I'm so freaking scared of death. But I think it's just that unknowing, that uncertainty. I feel like for a lot of people, the unknown is a really big fear for them.
Fear
because
of the unknown.
But it is, though, because the idea of nothing is just too sad. We were looking at some pictures of what we would look like maybe in the future. A lot of the pictures where scientists have like predicted what we look like, we have bigger heads, we have bigger forehead.
Do we have bigger eyes?
Yeah, we have bigger eyes.
Oh, okay. You literally described an alien. So, like, what if we are the aliens?
In the future.
Yeah, exactly. We see, you know, aliens, and we're like, we have this image of an alien having big eyes, big head, lanky, long fingers, etc.
Who originally thought of an alien? I mean, people come up with characters all the time, but, like, you can refer to something to at least get that sort of shape.
Yeah, especially like the shape of aliens, the color of aliens. Where do we get that from? In paintings in like the 16th century or 17th century, there have been like aliens, like UFOs. People were drawn like what appears to look like aliens in some paintings.
Wow.
Yeah, so like how far back does this go?
They could be looking at us right now thinking, oh, these guys are kind of grasping onto us. It's so weird because we have no answers. So we're
like
literally
nothing.
going off of, literally nothing. But it's interesting.
There's a quote from this philosopher, I didn't find the name. The more we learn about the universe, the more it appears to be based on mathematical laws.
Everything boils down to on or off, which is binary. Is there matter? Isn't there matter? Is it this? And then everything builds up to make this from different combinations of that on and off sequence.
So is it biological or is it artificial? We don't know.
We'll never know.
Yeah. There's this astrophysicist called Neil deGrasse Tyson. He said that the odds of us living in a simulation is 50-50. I would just like to say that.
I think that that's very accurate. Truly, it's an interesting topic. If you think about it too much, you'll probably drive yourself insane, so maybe don't do that.
I mean, it's good that we don't know. Otherwise, if we knew, then we wouldn't have this conversation right now.
We could talk about this for infinity.
The conspiracy theory wouldn't exist. Have an existential crisis and just roll around on the floor bawling. Thank you for listening. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Talking Couch Potatoes. Follow us on Instagram. Share us to your friends. You know, tell them how cool we are. Can you keep this in the recording? Ready? Hello, it's Batman. Don't forget to eat your spaghetti.